Y'all know what it is, man. It's all about this you all day, every day, man. Happy Monday morning. It's game week again. We got Temple up in Philly. So, it's time, man. It's time to talk. You see, number 2 and number 3 are not here with us today. But we got a special guest. We got a special guest host, and we're going to get into it real quick. Hold on.
Welcome to the You Heard podcast with your hosts, Ben, Joe, and CP. We're here to cover everything related to Miami Hurricanes football, from hot topics to pre- and post-game analysis.
All right, we'll talk about it at the end. We'll talk about it.
No, let's talk about that right now because you completely flipped it on me now.
I hate him for knowing this, bro. This man knew the brand, dog.
Okay, I don't appreciate that. I'm saying, like, I don't appreciate.
What did you say? No. What are we talking about, sir?
Get into it. I feel
keeping it a buck.
You heard?
Hey, man, you see me. I'm solo dolo. Not really, though. I got somebody with me since my 2 guys or whatever you want to call them are out, man. Number 2 and number 3 are out. I got my guy, the other Ben. That's right.
What's up?
The reliable Ben. The Ben that's here. You know what I mean? Big Polk. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just kind of busted tail to get back from Tampa from the Bucks game. So
yeah,
ready to go.
It was that atmosphere
hot as hell. Let me tell you,
really?
It was hot, but it was good. The atmosphere was great. Full. I mean, stadium was packed, so it was great. Pulled out the dub, so it's always good.
Yeah. So you are a Buccaneers fan, definitely.
Since I moved to Tampa, yeah. I mean, pretty much. I mean, this is our second year with season tickets, so yeah. Wifey wanted to see Brady's last season last year, so when they get you for season tickets, they rope you into 2 years. You got to do so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're gonna ride it out this year, but yeah, I mean, Baker's looking pretty good so far, man. So
we'll see about.
You know how he does, right?
Yeah.
He's good for about 3 or 4 good games a year, and then it's kind of. That's been his calling card.
Yes.
So, but
all right, man. So we wanted to bring somebody on. He's been in the news lately. We wanted to talk about his story, man, and introduce you guys to our guy, man. Look who we got in here.
Hey,
Shelton,
what's good, brother?
What's up, man?
What's good?
You doing, man? Hold on, you deserve some love, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. How's it going, brother?
I'm good. I just got done doing an interview for Channel 7 yesterday.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get back to everybody's response, and everybody's tagging me and stuff, and yeah, it's very very hard to do that when you're working and going about your daily life, and my phone was like stay buzzing and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything's good.
Hey, man, don't let these people take your time away, man, and your privacy away, brother. You know what I mean? You gotta decompress and take your time getting back to everybody. They'll be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Pope, you got anything for Shelton, man?
Yeah, man. I think a lot of this, us Canes fan that have been around for a while, we know Shelton. We've seen him out at the games and everything, and kind of know the story already. So I guess the other night, it was good against Bethune. They, showed him on TV, and we're saying a little piece about him and stuff like that. But just seeing that, and then seeing all the love that he got after that, especially with, I guess, a certain publication kind of threw some shade, but we won't talk too much about that. But
No.
just seeing all the love from the Canes community and the family saying, "Hey, it's like this is the guy right here, stand up dude. Just like you need to hear his story and see what he's all about." And I think us Canes fans that know who he is really appreciated that. And that's pretty much it. But for those of us that don't know Shelton, why don't you give us kind of a little backstory of how this came to be the quote unquote 12th man?
Well, it's been a long time. I've been doing this for 14 years. It all started out in 2009. Me and my brother were still am huge UM fans, and we became season ticket holders in 2009 for the first time.
Wow.
A little backstory on my brother. Everybody. I don't know if you will call it, but he was a little bit on the spectrum. He was mentally handicapped, but I didn't really see it that way. I just saw him as just my brother. I mean, it was it was obvious, but it was like, to me, it really didn't matter. I just saw him as my brother. Like when we were little, I didn't really have too many friends per se, and he would always be there to play with me or whatever. Whenever I would play video games, he would watch. He wouldn't exactly play with me all the time. He likes to watch me play video games, and I basically, if I play like a story-driven game, I would never continue the game unless he's there to watch. So that's the kind of relationship me and him had, and it was like a Batman and Robin thing. And the funny thing is that, Bruce Wayne's is Batman. So my brother's name is Wayne, so he was always considered to be Batman, and I was Robin because my middle name is Robert.
Wow.
So that was a little thing that we had going on, and it was like it was just us two. So we became season ticket holders in 2009, and we went up to FSU for the very first time, and that was our very first away game in our lives. So we were in a car, we drove all the way up there, and that was when Ja'Cory Harris led that drive down the field and beat the Noles in the fourth quarter.
Yes, sir. That's a good one. That's a good first game to go to.
That's right.
Yeah. And the funny thing is it's a picture of Ja'Cory throwing up the U to the crowd when he's walking out of the stadium, and in the corner. In the corner, you can see me and my brother in that picture.
Nice.
And the funny thing is, hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's dope, man. I love stories like this, man. I love
pretty
it.
Sweet, man. You gotta love that.
Yes. Matter of fact, let me pause this thing.
This is the ticket stubs that me and my brother uses. So I had them encased in the as a keepsake.
Nice.
So after that game, we came back home, and he developed some sort of cough, and we thought it was just normal cough. He shrugged it off because that's the way he is. He's a big guy, and he's like, it's nothing, it's whatever. But one night, I woke up to find him like coughing heavy. It was a dry, heaving cough, and I told my mom, I was like, "No, I think we got to take him to the hospital." Comes to find out, he had walking pneumonia. So it's like, when you have pneumonia, you don't know that you have it. You just think it's like a regular cold or something.
Right.
So they kept him in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and while he was in the hospital, we didn't go to any games. So I gave away my tickets to some people that wanted to go, and I watched the games in the hospital with him. So while I was in the hospital, me and him were joking around or whatever, and he pointed to the screen. It was when Miami was playing Georgia Tech, and he pointed to the screen at one of the players. He's like, "You should do that," and I'm like, "Do what?" And he's like, "You should go out there and be like that." And I'm like, I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, whatever. Since we collect all the memorabilia and everything, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it for one game when you get out of the hospital. And he's like, okay, cool. So he got out of the hospital, but about a week after that, while he was having like his heart monitored and everything, fluid built back up in his lungs, and we had to put him back in. They had to get him back in the hospital. So at that time, I was working a full-time job, plus going to school. So it was school, work, and then to the hospital. And so just those three for a good while. And my mother, who was always working as well, suggested I go up the road to Tampa to watch the USF versus Miami game. He's like, you need a break. Go there. You'll be fine. I got him. He'll want you to enjoy yourself. And I'm like, okay. I didn't feel right going without him, but I was like, I'll just go. So the day the game came, and I'm packing, but I couldn't sleep. I was packing my stuff, but I couldn't sleep. It was like about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and I just couldn't sleep. But I knew I needed to get to sleep because I was going to drive up to Tampa for the game. And then the phone rings, and it's the hospital. So I found that kind of weird, and I answered it, and it was like, "Oh, can we speak to Gloria Douthett?" And I gave it to my mom. I had to wake her up. I gave it to my mom, and I gave it to my mom, and then she spoke to them, and then she just broke down. I didn't know what was going on, and my dad, he kind of knew, because he was right next to you. He kind of knew. And I was at the hospital, letting me know that my brother passed away, and I was just in like a state of bewilderment. I'm like, couldn't really believe it. I'm like, this can't be real. It's like it was just did not feel like real. I feel like it was in a dream or whatever. So we go to the hospital, and it was a long corridor, and it felt like the longest walk I ever took. It was a short walk to where my brother was in the ICU, but it just felt like my feet were dragging and it was just heavy. And then I saw him laying there, and then I broke down. They were just trying to get me to calm down, and I couldn't believe he was gone and whatever. And it felt like everything was just broken. Like nothing was real. Nothing was, nothing had purpose. Nothing. It was like my whole heart was just gone. That's just the way it felt. I don't really know how to put that in words per se, but it's just a big emptiness that felt. My best friend was gone. My partner was gone. I didn't know what else to do. A little bit after that, a little after the funeral, my parents started a memorial scholarship foundation at my brother's school. He went to the school called the Marion Center, which helps kids and adults with mental disabilities, and is ran by nuns from Italy. So he's been there nearly all his life, through his teenage years to his adult years, and they took really, really good care of him. I volunteered there a couple of times during the summer, and I still do to this day. I DJ like their events for free. They basically got me as a DJ for life. I DJ for them one time, and they loved it. They're like, "Nope, you're a DJ for life. You're locked down. This is a non-negotiable contract." So I basically give my time to them because they took care of my brother, and I love them for what they've done in my brother's life to help him develop skills, everyday skills, workday skills, and all that. So my parents created a scholarship foundation for a family that needs help with paying tuition for their school, because that's a private school. So I'm thinking like, man, I want to do something to honor my brother. I want to do a little something myself. So I thought about what I said to him in the hospital, and I was like, I'll do that. I could do that. And I tried to figure out when I was going to do it. That was when the Canes were selected to play in the Champs Sports Bowl in Orlando. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it there. After that, I bought shoulder pads, I bought knee pads, I bought cleats, and I had it rushed delivered to my house and everything. So I drove up to Orlando. And the funny thing is, I stayed in the same hotel that Ja'Cory Harris and the team was at. so I got to see him and everything. So when I went out to the game, all decked out, everybody was just staring and like wondering like, what the heck? All the Wisconsin fans are there, just like, why is he out here? Like this is
player.
yeah, this is out of the norm. Why is he out here? So some of them will come up to me and is like, why are you out here? What's with all this? And I would tell them, why am I doing it? At the end of the night, I came home with almost $500 in donations.
Wow.
Just by telling my story and everything.
Wow.
And after that, it's just basically snowballed into what it is now. I actually still have the jersey. This is the jersey that started it all. You see how it still has a patch on there and everything. Yep. So this is the very first jersey that started it all. I would not get rid of it. It's a little tattered right now, but I would never get rid of this jersey.
No, you gotta get that. That's a life.
No, I'm gonna frame it. I'm gonna frame it. Yeah. But it just grew and grew and grew, and now it just took on a mind of its own. And everybody will call me like a legend and this and that, and I never really considered myself a legend or a super fan. I'm just a regular guy just keeping a promise. I take the compliments, but I'm very, very, very humble. Anybody that knows me personally, I'm very humble. I will never like do this for fame or for recognition or whatever. Even though it's getting out there, and I thank everybody for that, but I'm not doing this for that. I'm just trying to keep a promise to my brother and just basically spread the love that I had for him and he had for me and we have for the Canes to everybody else.
That's right. That's man. Somebody cutting onions in here, man?
They might be chopping a few.
They chopping onions, man. Oh man. Shelton. So do you have like a different jersey for every game? Like how are you getting jerseys? Are you buying all these jerseys?
Yeah. Well, I was recently donated a jersey because somebody wanted at a tailgate and they couldn't wear it, so they was like, "Here, you take it since you doing this." But all the jerseys that I get, I buy either from the auctions they have on Fanatics, or I stay on eBay every day because it seems like somebody's like selling or putting some stuff on there. So I stay on eBay. I check eBay every day. Fanatics.com. So I buy like almost all my stuff. Everybody thinks I get them like donated. Like, nope, I buy everything. I have like at least I would say underneath 10 grand worth of stuff throughout the years. Yeah, I'm going broke doing this. the helmets are the most expensive thing because they're like $700 a piece. So
oh yeah, and you got what, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them at least back there.
Yeah.
So how many different jerseys do you actually have?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 jerseys.
And the one you have on. Did you count the one you have on?
21.
21 right there.
That's right. That's what's up. So you go ahead, Bo. Go ahead.
I'm good. Clear my throat.
So you said that, man. So you said that you guys were season ticket holders since what, 2009? You said?
Yeah, the first time we became season ticket holders was in 2009.
Okay.
And the FSU game was the only game. Was the first away game and the last game he saw live.
Okay.
So that's why I got the tickets in case.
Yeah.
But after that, I've been a season ticket holder ever since then. So it's going on. It's 14 years I've been a season ticket holder.
Right. So you've been seeing the struggles like all of us have been. And
Oh
this year,
yeah. I've been going through the pains of the Randy Shannon years, the 56-0 Clemson years, the Al Golden years. Because I've been through it all.
Yeah. So how do you feel this season? How do you feel everything's looking? Do you feel confident, or are you a fan like that has PTSD and are like, I don't know, I'm gonna wait and see? Like, how are you feeling this season?
Yeah, college football is very unpredictable because you see how Colorado is just out of the box coming out hot, and it's Colorado. They were like 0-12 last year.
Yeah, 1-11,
and now they're the hot ticket now. You see FSU. All due respect, but they're hot right now too. Barely escaped on Boston College yesterday, but still. And they came off of a losing season the year before last. So it's very unpredictable, but I think Mario got these guys where he actually wants them to be. He got his coordinators, he got his basically his linemen in there because he went heavy on alignment because those guys are huge.
That's the important part.
And they're keeping Tyler Van Dyke upright. And that's the main key to this offense is keeping him upright. He only been sacked once in 3 games.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm very optimistic about this year. Everybody wants to go undefeated in college football because if you go undefeated, that's good. You have 1 loss, that's okay. You have 2 losses, that's all right. And then you have 3 losses, that's like okay now. Well, because it's all about wins right now. And the way I see it, I have to be a real fan. I go into the game thinking that we're gonna win. We're gonna beat these guys no matter who it is. We could go against Bama if we wanted to, and I say we're gonna smash them. But you have to be realistic. So I will be good with like a 10-2, 9-3 season and a good bowl win. At least compete for the ACC championship. If we get a championship within this year or next year, I'll be happy because from where we came from to where we at now, it's huge difference, huge jump, night and day.
Oh, it's night and day for sure.
You can see the difference. Yeah,
I think the way the ACC is looking right now, I think it's wide open with seeing how some of these teams are playing. You got Florida State with a close one with BC this weekend. You got Clemson not really looking like Clemson. I mean, they played a pretty weak opponent this last game, but I mean, even UNC is not looking like the high-powered offense that everybody thought they were going to be. I mean, so I don't know. I just think it's wide open for us this year. I mean, it's all laid out right there for us.
Right.
Definitely. So, Shelton, do you travel? Well, you obviously travel to away games. So this year, are you going to be at any away games this season?
Yeah, I'm only going to do. I got 1 away game, and that's the FSU game. Basically, just trying to save money because I do have a lot of other stuff coming up right now. So it is, but the only game that I really have down on my schedule is the FSU game. So I already paid for that. Everything's already booked. I got a lot of FSU fans that are expecting me because after the Bethune-Cookman game coverage went viral, I guess everybody started reaching out to me. It's like, I got to meet you, and I got a couple people I got to meet up there. So that's a definite must. But other than that, no, that's just the only game I'm going to this year. Next year will be different.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, man. Like Chapel Hill, would you? We'll talk. Do you have time to talk after this, or do you have
No, I got time. I got time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. So do you have a record prediction for this season?
I say 10-2.
10-2. What's the 2 losses you think?
Probably Boston College because that's always a track game,
in Boston.
And
yeah, in Boston too.
yeah, and is in Boston too. Funny thing is, I've been to Boston College like about 2 years ago, and that is the worst. That is the worst stadium I've ever been at because all due respect to Boston College, but there's no parking at all. So imagine parking a mile away and then walking to the stadium in cleats in 30-degree weather. That was miserable. And then I come back, I find a ticket on my car. So basically, I paid for parking. It was just $90. that was. And I think either I say UNC. I think we're gonna surprise FSU this year. So
Okay.
I say Boston College and UNC maybe losses because they always give us trouble. But I think this year we'll have you Florida State's number. So those two losses, and I say ACC title win. Fingers
Okay.
crossed.
Okay. So
I
that
like it.
brings me to the next, topic. What do we think about the ACC? Polk, you said that, it's wide open. You feel like it's wide open. We've been watching games. We've been watching, FSU and Boston College get into a shootout, basically.
Yeah.
Clemson.
If Florida State didn't have extra people on the field, I think BC wins that game. They had a few extra players helping them out, I think.
Extra player, 18 penalties, I think, to 2, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe 2. Clemson, Georgia Tech, but who else? Pitt and who's another contender? Florida State, Pitt, Clemson,
Louisville?
Louisville.
Maybe.
I think Louisville will be solid.
Virginia's just trash. They're so
But
bad.
Virginia Tech is bad. They're bad this year.
Virginia Tech is bad.
They're
Virginia's bad. Yeah. So, do we feel better about the chance of making it to the ACC championship than we did before the season?
I think we do because we have all these teams coming out of the woodwork. I mean, having Duke become a potential contender for the title makes everything more interesting. And the thing is, with Boston College hanging on to Florida State the way that they did, who to say? And plus, next year we have Cal, we have Stanford, and we have SMU added to the conference. So that opens the thing up a little bit more wider, and you don't know if they're going to be on the coastal side or the Atlantic side. I don't even know if you'll call it the ACC anymore. I think it would be like the All Coast Conference or something like that.
Alternate Coast Conference.
Yeah, alternate coast conference or something.
Yeah, something crazy. So as a conference, I mean, I think we're like what, 5-1, 4-1 against the SEC this year.
Oh yeah.
Giving it to them. So as a conference, like how do you think the ACC ranks amongst the Power 5? Like if you had
I will say if you're talking about teams off rip, I will say the Big Ten, SEC, and the ACC.
In that order.
Because if you're going off of teams alone, not off just the name of the conference, I will go in that order.
What about you, Pope? What you think?
I think I would still slightly give the edge to the SEC being in the lead just because of how many teams they still have in the top 25 ranks. I'd put us second, and I probably the Big Ten right there with us. I mean, they've got Ohio State, Michigan. Who else is balling up there in that right now? Can't draw on a blank, but I think we have out of the ACC 4 or 5 ranked right now in the top 25. But yeah, I would put it 1, 2, us with 2, and then Big Ten right behind us.
I've always felt the SEC was just top heavy. Georgia, Alabama. and then you have an occasional, Tennessee, Florida sometimes, but mainly Georgia and Alabama. Texas is now. Well, are they in SEC? They're not in SEC yet, are they?
Next year they'll be in the SEC.
Next
year
year
they'll be in the
officially,
SEC.
yeah. Them in Oklahoma.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, I agree with you, Polk. I think SEC, ACC, Big Ten. Yeah. So obviously, Shelton, you were at the Bethune game, and I'm sure we all watched it. I watched it. I'm sure Polk watched it. What quick thoughts? We're not going to spend a lot of time because it was Bethune, but quick thoughts on the game. And how do you think we looked? Do you think we handled business? Do you think we played down to the competition? How do you think we looked?
I think we did what we're supposed to do. We took care of business. I think you're supposed to do that, but the thing is, like, you can't really give yourself like too much confidence. They're like, okay, it's a cupcake team, because that's what happened in Middle Tennessee. Now look what happened to that. So,
Sure.
but I'm not saying that Bethune is on the same par as Middle Tennessee. All due respect to them, but you did what you're supposed to do. With that thing, you put your foot on them, and then let the second team get their reps. And they definitely did. I have to give it to Emory Williams. He came and handled business. Our running back room was really good. It was like better than I thought it would be. And our receivers definitely showed out. Restrepo is putting on a show. I think he's like showing signs that he could be like the next Barrios.
A little slower than Barrios.
Little bit slower.
Yeah, but the thing is, like with him, he catches the ball with his hands, and then it seems like he also pulls it into his body like quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But he catches the ball with his hand and his body at the same time. And I think if you put him like one-on-one in coverage, he'll majority get the ball. I think that's just my opinion.
Oh yeah, he's gonna fight for sure. He's a tough dude to take down too.
Yeah.
But other than that, your team did what they had to they did what they're supposed to do to a team like that. I think the rest of the schedule will definitely show what this team is made of, because we definitely showed it against Texas A&M and Miami, Ohio. We said, okay, we're here. We changed. Now after Temple, the real test begins within the conference.
Yeah.
With Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is no slouch, because
no.
I hated Georgia Tech because they had that triple option thing. I love the fact now. I'm glad they got rid of that. That get on my nerves. But the thing is, we contained it when we went against. We contained the triple option.
Yeah.
But other than Clemson. So the Bethune game was basically more like a prep game for that slate of home and road games.
Yeah. What you think?
No, I totally agree. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. Took care of business. I think it was good for them to, come out guns blazing and get a quick start and kind of keep that same momentum going, while the first team was in there and everything. I think what I liked the most was right before half, Bethune has the ball and we're calling timeouts to stop the clock to give us a chance. And coach says, "Hey, let's get out there. Let's put some more points on the board right before half. See what we can do." And they went out there and did it. And I think they executed great. And once they turned it over to the second team, they did what they were supposed to do. They looked really good. Emory looked very sharp. The kid's he's gonna be something. I truly believe he is. People saying, "Oh, those star chasers out there still gonna talk their talk," but he's gonna prove them wrong for sure. And then. Yeah, I just think overall it was, a solid performance. A few hiccups here and there with some penalties, but that's going to happen. That's, something to work on, especially with a game like that. It's those things that are easier to clean up. And I think moving forward to next week to Temple, you get, I think, a little bit tick up in, the team you're playing, not too much, because I think it's still going to be a fairly, I hate to use the word easy game, but I think we're going to, handle business there too, and just kind of fine tune some of those things that, they need to get settled before we, kick off into conference play.
Yeah, and it's a road game. It's their first test, right?
Right.
Test on the road. And I think after that there's a bye week, and then we get into, or is it Georgia Tech and then the bye?
No, we get the bye first and then Georgia Tech, yeah.
Then straight into conference, right? Crazy place for a bye, but whatever. Yeah, I agree with both of you guys, man. I think we did what we supposed to do. Polk, you mentioned the penalties. That really aggravated me. I think we had 10 penalties in that game. So yeah, definitely something we have to clean up before we get into conference play. But
I think some of those young dudes were a little excited, especially the second team defense, because you got a lot of offsides penalties, trying to jump the snap and get back. They want those sacks, man. I think a lot of came from that. Be a little too excited to be out there on the field, but
but that's if we know, that's what we've been missing, right? We haven't had, the young guys haven't had the opportunity to get game reps because we haven't been taking care of business.
Right.
So when we play teams like Middle Tennessee, no disrespect, Bethune, these teams like that, we were in battles and the young guys weren't able to get in and get actual game reps. Yeah. And that's very important, that we were able to handle that business early and get the young guys in. So yeah, that was great. That was great. Let me get into this Caneswear ad real quick, guys, and
we'll be camera tilt. We're there. It is.
Back, buddy. Caneswear. Yeah.
That's where I got the hat from.
Welcome to Caneswear. Family owned and operated since 2010. Caneswear has all latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at Caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Caneswear, the spot, baby. Yes,
the spot.
Yup. Brett and Jeff, man, great guys over there. They do a great job. Got the hat. Polk got the hat. Shelton, did you say you got the hat from there?
Yeah, I got the hat from there too. They're good. Brett, all them Jeffs, they're good guys. They've been with me from the jump too. So
first class humans for sure.
Definitely, man. They always look out. All right, so we'll get into this real quick, man. I posted something that had Twitter up in arms. You know what I mean? I said something to the effect that this Colorado team reminds me of a team in the 80s that invented swag. I didn't say they were them. I didn't say that it's a bad thing. I didn't say it's a bad thing. I just said they remind me of them. Now, they do. Like if we're 100%. Looking at the situation, the jury, you know what I mean, talking trash before the game, beef on the 50-yard line before the game, a bunch of celebrities at the game, dancing in the end zone, dancing during first, all of that. It just reminds me of Miami before Miami became Miami. You know what I mean? Early on in the 80s when we were popping and everybody hated us. It seems like Colorado's going that way because there's a lot of hate for Colorado right now. You can see it in the mainstream media. You got a bunch of ex-players saying something. You got, writers talking bad about Colorado, talking bad about Dion. So it reminds me of that. Not saying that they're them. at all. They have to win something. They have to, they actually have to succeed. But just the way they're moving about their business reminds me of that. How you guys feel about that?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sheldon.
Well, I would say they're showing signs of the attitude, but they're bringing it into today's time.
Yeah.
Today, during the whole social media era, is all about image and flashiness or whatever. You have Little Wayne bringing the team out. You have you're getting these recruits with photo shoots with Lamborghinis and stuff. We have Prime Time selling $1 million worth of sunglasses in a day.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's as much of the team. Is more Dion than the team, because he's bringing all his attitude, everything that he was about when he played for FSU, for the Cowboys and all that. He's bringing it to the team, and that sells. That sells. You look at the average ticket sales of a Colorado game last year, $20. Now tickets are going for $500 on average.
Yeah.
So you kind of say like, yeah, they bring the swagger. I wouldn't say too much of the Miami swagger, because the Miami swagger, we dance in the end zone, but we'll punch in the mouth too on the field, like literally on the field. And last night was a little bit of that. It showed a little bit of that, more. It was a lot of taunting. It was a lot of back and forth. That was a good game. But I would say in certain aspects of it, you do remind you of the Canes of the '80s, but it has its own take in the whole 2020 era. It has its own flavor to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going to go with it, kind of like a Miami light, if you will.
Right.
Got the showiness, the flashiness, everything that Miami was back then. But I think, like Sheldon said, we'd punch you in the mouth too on the field. I just don't quite see that aggressiveness with Colorado, but everything else is, it's very reminiscent of those times for sure.
Yeah, man. And Coach Prime grew up around that.
Oh, that was
Coach
him.
Prime was right. Coach Prime was really the only guy at FSU that was
who should have been at Miami.
Guy. Yeah, he should have. Right. We thought he was a Miami. Everybody thought he was a Miami guy, man. Yeah. So he's bringing that. And if you look at who he has around the program, he has Miami guys around the program.
Yep.
And I think Sapp is on staff.
Irvin.
I think. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he brings those guys around the program to instill that mindset.
Right.
That dog mentality. And it's not a bad thing to be like that. Rest in peace to Kobe. We all know who his influence was. He goes to the hole with his tongue out. He has the band on his forearm.
The wristband, yeah.
Right, like Mike, but he's Kobe. He's the Mamba. We know that, but we know who the influence was. This is the same type of thing to me. Not saying they're doing everything, but there's definitely some influence in my.
No, and I've kind of changed my perspective a little bit on Dion, with how he's you can't deny the man his passion and his dedication and work ethic. I mean, you can't deny that one bit. I think what threw me off, at first was it was more about him than it was the program or the players. That's the way I saw it, off the rip when he first got hired. I was like, oh, this is going to be awful. This guy only cares about himself. He's not going to care about these kids, this program, nothing. But now here I am reeling back how I thought before. Thinking it's like, no, it's not really like that.
He definitely
really cares
about
direction.
Yeah, he definitely cares about them and his program and the young men and women involved in that program. He definitely does.
But he's going to do it the prime way.
Yeah. And all that attention, guess what that does? That brings more NIL money for the young men. You know what I mean? It brings more attention. It gets more NFL eyes on the people in the building. Listen, man, it does a lot for Colorado and the university, the city.
You got to think about it. You got to think about it like this. You now that I see it, I think it's kind of like the changing of the guard, because you have a lot of great coaches that come and go. You have Les Miles, you have Howard Schellenberger, you have Jimmy Johnson that changed the game, and then you have Nick Saban. Nick Saban was dominant for years, and now that Alabama is not the powerhouse that that they were, you have Deion coming up. Maybe it's the changing of the guard. Maybe it's more because Nick Saban was more traditionalist. Now you have this whole wave of new players and this whole different attitude coming in, and then you have Travis Hunter's being a two-way player and a potential Heisman that like that. If that dude keeps going, that's a Heisman lock right there. And now you have Deion is a new era of coaching now, because he's more of a player's coach and a little bit of traditionalist, because he reminds me of the coaches that you see at Pop Warner. So it's like it's a little bit of that. So you're starting to see it like, okay, now college football is definitely changing now, because you have Deion taking Jackson State to the championship, coming over to a P5 school, and now running the table, almost running the table with them. Then you have Duke coming out of nowhere, being good. Clemson, being beatable, and now you have Alabama losing, and I'm like, okay, now it's a change. Now things are changing now. Yeah. So I think this is probably the start of a new era, as in like, player coaches, and it's with Mario. Mario is definitely, he's a player coach because he loves his players, but he's definitely on a tradition side, because he's more like the 80s and 90s type of coach, because he played in those eras. So I think he can relate to the players now, and the way he got his players now, that I love their attitude. They're more business-like. They, you can, have a little attitude, have a little swagger, but then, you got to take care of business. You got to back it up.
Right.
So I think it's basically a start of a new era of coaching and of college football in general.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we're definitely seeing with Coach Cristobal. He's instilling that work ethic. He's constantly about the work. The work is the work, and you put that in, and you're going to get the results that we're looking for. And I think we're starting to see that, more and more, the product that they're putting out on the field now.
Definitely. And I think Coach Prime walks that fine line that you just mentioned, Shelton. He's a player's coach. He allows them to have fun. He allows them to have swag and rock their jewelry and all that. But he's also a disciplinarian, as we saw when he first got there. He let them know out the gate when he first got there, listen, man, this is not a game. If you don't want to work, you can leave. So he walks that fine line, man, and I think that's why, the players are going to go super hard for him, because he shows the love, but he also has them working.
Right. So I think you can credit the coordinators he brought in a lot too for bringing that mindset, especially with our with Guidry on defense. He's that guy that's going to get in there and mix it up with the guys and players. But when it's time to work, it's time to work, and I think the guys know that, and they're going to put in that effort for him. I think same goes with Dawson too. They're a little bit younger guys, so they can kind of somewhat relate to that this era of college football with letting the guys play, putting them in the best spot to succeed. And I think they're both doing that really well. And I think like I said, we're starting to see that on the field.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Shelton, man, listen, we appreciate you coming on and taking time. Listen, where can they find you? Is that your Twitter name, the 12th Man?
Yeah, that's my Twitter name. You can find me on Instagram, also TikTok. I don't really post too much on TikTok lately, but I'm mostly on Twitter and Instagram. Uh, I do have the scholarship foundation. The GoFundMe is still up. It's on my Twitter page. We are $400 away from our goal. Our goal was 1,500, and after the whole BC game, that it blew up. So
I'm
we're
sure.
about four
That's
hundred
what's
dollars
awesome.
away from our
That's
goal.
awesome. That's what's up.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, I'm gonna present the check to the school. So if you can donate, please. If not, you can still leave like a word of encouragement on the page. I take that. I mean, it goes a long way because I don't do this for me or anything. I just do it to give back and show the love that they showed my brother, and I'm spreading it all with everybody else. So if you can help, please donate.
Absolutely.
Definitely. We're
I think
definitely
it,
gonna share it on our page. And I can't wait to meet you in person, man. I was just down there and Ben said he met you and I'm jealous. So next time I'm down there, man, I'll probably be down for Clemson.
But yeah,
Um so yeah, I know you're gonna be there.
yeah,
So
just let me know, man. I'll make my way to you, man. Because that's the thing about being out there on games. I try to meet everybody that says they want to meet me. I make that my priority.
yes, yes, definitely. We're definitely gonna do that and link up. And Pope, man, I appreciate you for jumping on,
hey
brother.
man, glad I could
Yeah,
make it. My
yeah,
pleasure.
man. Yeah, Shelton. I got, two other guys that do this with me, but they take time off, man. They take sick days and all that and PTO and so yes, I appreciate you guys, man. And listen, it's all about that you. Let's go. We got Temple this week. It's all
Let's
about
do it,
that
baby.
you.
Yes,
Let's
Let's
sir.
do it.
let's get it. All right.